بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. فأما بعد, my dear brothers and sisters, I have been asked to speak about the importance of Dava and how Dava is a collective responsibility of all of us, all Muslims everywhere. Now, no doubt about that, obviously. There is, we are, completely in agreement, I'm sure. The question is, what is the problem with our Dawah as it stands? Because if you look at it globally speaking, it doesn't seem like we are going anywhere. So I thought, let me try to say what I need to say in as concise a way as possible. I believe the reason why we are not, or we don't seem to be going anywhere, is not because of our intention. Alhamdulillah, our intention is good. We would like to do the best that we can do. It is also not because we don't have enough money. There is plenty of money for what is required. It is not because we don't have enough people who are interested, because there are a lot of people who are interested and there are a lot of people who are working very hard. I think we have the focus wrong. We are not hitting the target not because we don't have the right implement or the right ammunition. We are not hitting the target because we are not pointed at the target. We are pointed at something else. So no matter how accurate you are, no matter how good you are with your implement, with your tool, you will never hit the target because you are shooting at something else. Let me give you an example to illustrate what I'm saying or what I mean. Supposing I have this beautiful garden, very beautiful garden. I'd like to invite people into this garden. I've had this garden for now 1400 years, and I would like people to come into my garden. So what I'm doing is that I'm spending all my time on social media, on pamphlets. I'm traveling the world giving lectures about my garden. I am trying to tell people here and there and this country and that country how beautiful this garden is. But in the process, I have neglected the garden. So now when those people come to the garden, they find there's a huge gap between the description of the garden that they heard from me and what they are actually seeing when they come to the garden. So instead of being attracted to the garden, they're getting repelled. So they come to the garden and they say, no, sorry, not interested. And I'm wondering now, what is it I'm doing wrong? Maybe my pamphlets quality needs to improve. Maybe my social media campaign needs to improve. Maybe I must take some more speech making, public speaking classes so that my address to the people is more powerful. The real problem is? The real problem is that I'm focused in the wrong place. Think about this. I'm in America, and this is the first time, I've lived in America before, but this is the first time I actually have been noticing things so closely. So we after winter, and winter of course everything is covered with snow and so on and so forth, all the trees are bare, just sticks. When spring came, my expectation was that the first thing that would happen was that the trees would grow leaves. But what do I see? I see that the trees are covered with flowers, not leaves. Not one single green leaf in sight. But the trees are completely covered with flowers. Every single twig has a flower on it. I took some nice pictures. And I wondered, I said, what is this? And then I looked it up. And one of my good friends, he also pointed me in the right direction. He said, I learned this in school in botany. Well, they didn't teach me this in school in botany. And that is that when spring comes, the first thing that trees do is to put out the flowers, not because they want to look good to us, but because they want to look good to the insects. The trees are focused on propagation of the species, and that will not happen unless insects come and pollinate the tree, pollinate the flowers, so seed formation can happen. So the first thing the tree does is it puts out the flowers. So the lesson I learned about Dava from the trees is if you want to attract insects, forget about the insects, focus on yourself. The tree which attracts the maximum number of insects is the tree which has the maximum number of flowers. Imam al-Zuhri rahmatullahi alayhi, he said that Islam spread the fastest after Fatah Makkah, because for the first time the non-Muslim was able to see the life of a Muslim up close. Because there was no tensions after Fatah Makkah, there was no tensions. Rasulullah had forgiven everybody. So Imam al-Zuhri rahmatullahi alayhi said Islam spread the fastest after Fatah Makkah because for the first time the non-Muslim was able to see the life of a Muslim up close. He did not say Islam spread the fastest because immediately after Fatah Makkah, the Sahaba, they set up Dava organizations and there were people doing full-time Dava for which they were getting a salary from somebody and they were distributing pamphlets and they ran Facebook campaigns and they you know, I mean obviously you didn't have Facebook and stuff, but you know what I'm trying to say. So you might say, well, what did the Sahaba do after Fatah Makkah which resulted in the maximum number of people coming to Islam? What did they do about Dawatul Islam? You know the short answer to that? Nothing. They did not do anything about Dawatul Islam. They just lived their lives. They just lived their lives. And their lives happened to be so attractive. Their behavior, their akhlaq, their mu'amilat, their mu'ashira, their dealings with people, their manners, their environment, the society that they created, the Muslim society happened to become so attractive and it was so beautiful that the insects came to the flowers, that the non-Muslims were attracted to the Muslims. And they said, no, tell us, how's your life like this? How are you at complete peace with yourself? How are you in a state of tranquility no matter what else is happening around you in the world? And what did the Sahaba say? The Sahaba said, Kunu mithlana. They said, become like us. Be like us. They didn't give them a long lecture. They just said, look at me. Be like us. You know the problem with why our dawah doesn't work is because we try to do dawah. So I would say the first thing to do is stop doing dawah. Stop doing dawah. Again, bear with me. I say to the people who talk about peace, we want peace. We want harmony. We want people to live happily together. So somebody says, I'm a peace activist. We are running an organization to promote peace. So I say to them, peace is the name of a result of something else. Peace is not the cause. Peace is the result. Peace is the effect. So if you want to have peace, you have to do something else. And what is that something else? You have to establish justice. You have to establish justice. Peace cannot happen in the absence of justice, because peace is a result. A garden cannot be beautiful in the absence of gardening. If you want a garden to be beautiful, you have to spend your time in the garden, digging it up, manuring it, de-weeding it, removing all the weeds, planting flowers, pruning the rose bushes, watering the whole garden, and so on and so forth. Peace is the result of justice. Where there is justice, peace happens. Where there is justice, peace happens. Peace is not made, justice is made. Peace is not established, justice is established. Peace is not created, justice is created. And when justice is created and established, peace is the automatic result of that. Which also means that until you create and establish justice, you can never have peace. No matter how many peace activists, no matter how many peace organizations, no matter how many peace promoting campaigns, peace will not happen until you establish justice. And in the same way, Dawa is not done, Dawa is not created, Dawa is not established, Dawa happens. And Dawa happens because we create, we live Islam. Dawa happens when we live Islam. When you establish Islam in your life, Dawa is the result. Just as peace is the result, Dawa is also the result. Peace is the result of justice, Dawa is the result of Islam, of living Islam. So you want Dawa? We have to create Islam. Not one piece of Islam, but we have to create Islam in its entirety. Starting where? Starting with me. I must start with myself. You must start with yourself. I cannot start with you, and you cannot start with me. My brothers and sisters, give this some thought. Please give this some thought. Because as long as we are going to be focused on saying, I must do Dawa, Dawa will not happen. Focus on it and say, what can I do to my garden to make it the most beautiful garden in the world? I am actually going to defocus from everybody else. It is only natural that a beautiful garden attracts people. It is only natural that flowers attract bees. So the tree, the plant is not worried about the bees, the tree is worried about producing the most beautiful flowers and as many of them as it can. Bees happen, bees come. Dawa happens, Dawa will come, Dawa will happen. Think about this. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. Who is Allah talking about? Is He talking about the behavior of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Is He talking about a Dawa campaign? Or is He talking about the behavior of a Sahabi who Allah did not even mention in the Quran? The behavior of one man and his wife, one man and woman, what did they do? They did something which pleased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned their behavior and their action in the Quran. to be honored by reciting it in Salah. Allah put it in His kitab. What was that? That was behavior. Was this behavior attractive? Did it bring people into Islam? History is witness. History is witness. Behavior. Jabir radiallahu anhu narrates, we were with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a campaign in Najd, and we were returning, and in one place it rained and we got wet, and then it was also midday, we were all tired, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered a stand down. He said we were in a valley which was full of thorn trees, so there was some kind of shade, and the Sahaba all dispersed. He said we all dispersed, and we all, there was no danger or anything like that. So we, each of us, we found some shade, and we lay down to sleep. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, he found a tree with some shade, and he hung up his sword on the branch of the tree, and he fell asleep. The Sahaba said, then we heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam calling to us. They said we got up, we ran to him, and we found him, and there was a Badu Arab with him. There was one of the tribal Arabs, he was there with him. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that this man, my sword was hanging on the tree, and I heard this man, and I opened my eyes, and he was lying on the ground. This man had my sword, unsheathed, naked sword, in his hand. His sword was at my neck like this. And the man said to me, Ya Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who will save you from me now? And I said, Allah. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the sword fell from his hand. Then I picked up the sword, and I got up, and I put the sword on his neck, and I said, who will save you from me now? And the man said, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, will you accept La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah? Will you accept that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah, and that I am His messenger? The man said, no. He said, no, I will not accept. But I will not fight you, and I will not be with anyone else who fights you. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam narrated this whole story to the Sahaba, and then he said to the Sahaba, this man is under my protection, do not harm him. And he told the man, you are free to stay or go, as you wish. What are we seeing here? Are we seeing Dava? Or are we seeing Islam being lived as Islam? La ikraha fi ad-dini qad tabayyana ar-rushd min al-ghayy. Are we seeing this in action? La ikraha fi ad-din. Even when the man is standing with a sword to your neck, now when the tables are turned, when your sword is to his neck, you don't kill him. You don't even force him to accept Islam. And of course, one must appreciate that man's integrity and courage, that even in that situation, he didn't lie. He didn't lie. Today you want to marry a woman and you say, oh yeah, okay, fine, tell me, what must I do? Huh? You have to accept Islam. Sure, tell me, what must I do? Say La ilaha illallah. Okay, La ilaha illallah. Now do it. My brothers and sisters, the key to Dawah is to live Islam. Now, therefore, what must we do? What we need to do is to establish communities which reflect the beauty of Islam. And I believe the best way to do that is through schools. Let me tell you a little bit more on this before I come to the solution. And that is something which is the keystone of my whole focus and campaign about the Standard Bearers Academy, SBA. And that is to try to undo the damage of two crimes that have been committed in the name of education. The first is the crime of separating theological education from scientific education. We have removed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from His creation. Na'udhu billah. And we did that. We did that, Muslims. So now we teach about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Jalla Jalaluhu, we teach the kitab of Allah, we teach the teachings of His Nabi Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as if there is no creation. And we teach about the creation as if there is no creator. This is the first biggest crime. And I'm calling it a crime because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically ordered us to do the opposite in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, combine these two. Allah said, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, verily in the creation of the heavens and the earth and in the alternation of the day and the night, there are signs for people of intelligence. And Allah described who are these people. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. These are people who recognize Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are on La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, who are constantly aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their lives. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ is real to them. وَهُوَ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ is real to them. وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ is real to them. And these people, then Allah said what? وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And these are the people who know Allah, who recognize Allah, who believe in Allah, who worship Allah, who are aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their lives, who rejoice in that feeling. And وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Did Allah say, أَوْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ? You and I know Arabic at least that much, that we know that if this was written as a sentence in Arabic, and instead of وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ, if we had written أَوْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, grammatically speaking, the sentence would still make sense, the sentence would still be correct. But it would no longer be an ayat of the Quran, because Allah did not say أَوْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. My Rabb Jalla Jalaluhu said وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ. What is the difference? The difference is the difference between heaven and earth. We have taken وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ and converted that into أَوْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. We have created these two communities, the communities of so-called ulama and this community of so-called scientists. Both are so-called. What is an alim of the Quran who does not understand the creation? And what is a scientist of the creation who does not understand the creator? Both of them are masqueraders. They are actors, they are not real. We created a system where in our madaris and our Dayarul Ulum and in our Islamic universities, we do not even have a subject called science. Do we teach physics? Do we teach chemistry? Do we teach biology? Do we teach mathematics? And of course, the name Allah, the word God is illegal in our universities. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. First, biggest crime committed in the name of education is to separate the creator from his creation. That didn't happen. The creator does not get separated because you want to separate it or I want to separate it, but we tried our best and we succeeded at a materialistic level in our lives, and we are paying the price. We are paying the price Because when the human being gets used to living as if Allah is not there in his life, he turns into a tool of shaitan. Because Allah told us what happens when you keep the vow there. And يَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And these are the people who research and who search and who discover and who do experiments and go on expeditions to discover how this world is created, to discover the beauty and the absolutely fabulous systems that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created and the beauty of his creatures. When they do that, who does that? Those who know Allah, those who recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When they do that, what happens? رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Automatically, oh Allah, you did not create this in vain. Oh Allah, all beauty, glory, magnificence is yours. Oh Allah, save me from the fire. Ameen Ya Rabb. This is the automatic result. Now we change that. We remove the vow, we put the aw. We created these two communities which are literally at war with each other. How many scientists have you heard who have genuine respect for the ulama of Islam? How many of them have you seen? And how many scientists have you seen who think that ulama are backward, stupid fools who are rooted in some ancient nonsense, and that all the madaris and the jamiat should be shut down? How many scientists like that do you know? How many scientists do you know who are atheists? It's almost like a given. I'm not saying everyone is like that, but it's almost like a given. And on the other hand, how many ulama have you seen who have genuine respect for scientists? I'm not talking about this, we are very good at pretending. I'm talking about genuine. You know what is a sign of genuine respect? Is to teach science in your jamiat and darul ulooms. If you don't do that, you have no respect. Simple as that. And the same thing to the university people. So we created this. And thereby we created a society which thinks that it is free from God, it is free from Allah. It doesn't need Allah. It's only because Allah sent COVID now that everyone is talking about God, right? Because now your minds and brains and everything are fried. We have no idea what to do. Simple as that. All our science and our money and everything else, including our ibadat and our du'as, are they working? Seriously, ask yourself this question. Are they working? So what happened? We lost our connection. We lost our connection. We're trying to talk on a phone with the battery is dead. So that's the first big violence to education. The separation of God and creation. The separation of Allah and the makhluk. Allah showed us the connection, and Allah showed us the sequence in which this must be taught. Teach about Allah first, and then teach about the makhluk, and the automatic result of that is closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, re-establishment of that connection. رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. The second big violence we did to education was the separation of theory and practice. Separation of theory and practice. Let me ask you a question. How many departments of mechanical engineering in your universities announce to the city to say that if you want your car repaired, bring it here? How many have you seen like that? How many universities teaching aeronautical engineering say to airlines that we are willing to come and work in your maintenance centers free of cost? Our students will come and we will work there with you, with your people, free of cost. How many do that? How many medical colleges do you know who have established primary healthcare centers in the villages, in the slums, in the towns, in the cities around that college? I'm not talking about the teaching hospitals that might be attached. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about primary health centers where your students, your doctors will go and treat patients for free in their own free time. Your doctors know enough. They don't even need a certificate. They know enough to diagnose. They know enough to send a patient to a hospital. They know enough to give what is normally off the counter medicine. They know enough to take blood pressure. They know enough to give somebody to set an IV or something. So how many medical colleges have primary health centers, a network of primary health centers around them, or even one, where poor people can come and get treatment for free? And then we are surprised. In my city of Hyderabad, I am told that in this COVID, the people minting money are private hospitals. Hospitals. Where a COVID patient comes to them, they first say, deposit 1.5 million rupees, 15 lakhs. And then they are charging them 65 to 70,000 rupees per day for that bed with an oxygen cylinder. Don't try to translate that into dollars and pounds. Forget that. For an Indian who is earning in India, that is huge money. How does that happen? How does that happen in a hospital? I call this the vulture culture. Vulture culture. How did it get created? Because the focus of medical knowledge, the focus of medicine is not healing. It's not health. It is to make money out of sickness. Why did that happen? Because we separated theory from practice. I'm giving you only 2 examples, but I can give you any number of examples. So these 2 crimes must be paid for. These 2 crimes must be eliminated, eradicated. What are the 2 crimes? The separation of Allah from His creation and the separation from theory, the separation between theory and practice. The way to do that is through the school system, is to establish schools which are in fact little communities of Islam in practice. What does that mean? It means that you are not just giving or stuffing people's and children's heads and hearts with information. You are creating, walking, talking models of the Sunnah of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are creating people who will become compassionate, responsible citizens of a pluralistic, multicultural, multi-religious society who will be seen as an asset by everyone around them. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. Allah said they feed even though they have need for it, even though they love it, even though they are hungry. They feed the poor person, the miskeen, the yatim, the orphan, and the asir, who is the prisoner. He did not say they feed the poor Muslim, they feed the poor Muslim orphan, they feed the Muslim prisoner. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Quran when a man came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam one evening and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I am destitute, I have nothing, I have nowhere to go. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, who is ready to take my guest? And a Sahabi said, Ya Rasulullah, I am ready. He took this man home, he seated him and he went inside his house. His wife said, who is this? The man said, I have brought a guest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to eat with us. The wife said, we have no food. We have just a little bit of food which I had kept for the children. The man said, put the children to sleep somehow and bring that food. And when you bring the food, put off the lamp as if it happened accidentally. And in whatever ambient light there is, we will eat, we will pretend to eat, and you and I will not eat, let the man eat. Now think about that lady, think about that Sahabiya. She didn't argue with him, she didn't say, and that's not because she was an oppressed woman, no. She also wanted to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So she said, one day we will remain hungry, we will be hungry, our children will be hungry, they won't die, nobody dies in one day, not eating one meal. But let us feed the guest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this was done. So she brought the food. We all know this. How many times have you heard this story? The thing is to reflect on that. So they brought the food and they fed the man. He didn't even realize what was happening. And he was satiated, he thanked them, he went away. Next morning when the Sahabi went to the masjid to meet Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Jibreel alayhi salam and he told me what happened in your house. Who are we talking about? Ordinary people. Doing what? Dava? No. Living Islam. Ordinary people living Islam. My brothers and sisters, this is the meaning of Dava. Dava is to work on ourselves. Let me ask this question. I've asked this question so many times to many of my brothers and sisters from various Dava organizations who will be listening to this. You will remember this. How many of you have asked, what is your Islah program for yourself? What is your Islah program? How many Dawah organizations are there in this world today who can say with complete and total certainty that every single person who works with us prays tahajjud? And if you cannot say that, then ask yourself, how come you can't say that when Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam could have said that about the group of Sahaba, the inner circle who were with him and who were within his tarbiyah, he could have said that I can say with certainty that every single one of them prays tahajjud. And he didn't have to say it because his Rabb said it. إِنَّ رَبَّكَ يَعْلَمُ أَنَّكَ تَقُومُ عَدْنَا مِنْ ثُلُثَيِ اللَّيْلِ وَنِصْفَهُ وَثُلُثَهُ وَطَائِفَةٌ مِّنَ الَّذِينَ مَعَكَ. His Rabb is the witness. How many Dawah organizations can say that every single person working with them prays tahajjud? My question is that if even the people who are working in the so-called field of Dawah do not pray tahajjud, whose help are you seeking for your work? When Allah said very clearly, "La tahdi man ahbabta, walakin Allah yahdi man yasha." The ayah came as a means of comfort for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam because he had made all of this effort for da'wah. And in the case of Abu Talib, he was not successful and so on. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is comforting his Nabi. But for us, this ayah is also admonition. It's not comfort, it's admonition. Where Allah is saying, you don't think that you can succeed. No, you can't succeed. Allah is the one who can succeed. So if I cannot succeed in Dawah and I need the help of Allah and I'm not asking for the help of Allah, then what does it say about my basic fundamental understanding of Dawah? My brothers and sisters, seriously think about this. What is your Islah program for yourself individually? Who is your Muslih? Do you have a Muslih? Before that, do you think that you even need Islah? Or are you offended? Are you offended? How dare Shaykh Yawar say that I need Islah? Eh? Maulana Abu Hasan al-Nadwi rahmatullah used to say that the one who thinks that he does not need Islah is sitting in the lap of shaitan. जो अपने आप को इस्लाह से मुस्तगनी समझे वो शैतान की गोद में बैठा हुआ है. He used to say. Ask yourself this question. If you are running a Dawah organization, ask every single person in your Dawah organization this question. Do you pray tahajjud? And they will not pray tahajjud if you don't pray tahajjud. And I know people who don't pray tahajjud. My brothers and sisters, please wake up. Forget about doing Dawah. Start living Islam. Dawah will happen. Tend to your garden. Don't talk about how this garden was in the 7th century and how this garden was in the 15th century and how this garden was in Spain and how this garden was in the time of this king or this Khalifa, this country, that country. Forget about all that. Today, at every time, the present always outweighs in importance everything else. The past is gone. Whether it was good or whether it was bad, it has no bearing on us today. Today is what we have, and today decides what we will have tomorrow. وَأَن لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. Allah said, for the human being is nothing more than what he works for. Our today will decide our tomorrow. So let us focus on that and say, what is it that I need to do in order to create such beauty in my life and in the lives of all those around me, so that my life becomes a means of Dawah. I want to end with this quote of mine. A lamp does not do anything to the room, to the dark room, to light up the room. A lamp does not do anything to the room to light up the room. The lamp lights itself and the room is illuminated. The lamp lights itself and the room is illuminated. We are the lamps. Islam is the fuel in that lamp. Otherwise, without the fuel, the lamp is just an object. It can't do anything. It needs the fuel. And then it needs the light. It needs that spark. And what is that spark? That spark is the connection with Allah. Once that happens, the lamp lights. قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. Allah did not say drive away the battle. Allah said drive away the batil. He didn't say drive away the falsehood. He said falsehood goes away. It is the nature of batil, kana zahuqa. It is the nature of darkness to go away. Darkness is the name given to the absence of light. Darkness has no existence by itself. Darkness is the name given to the absence of light. If you want to drive away darkness, what must you do? Create the light. Look at yourself. You are the lamp. Are you lighted? Am I the lamp? I am the lamp. Am I lighted? If I'm not lighted, I can talk about light till the cows come home. We will still remain in darkness. But if I light myself, I don't have to talk at all. People are attracted. Moths are attracted to a lighted lamp, not to a unlighted one. Light the lamp, the moths will come. Beautify the garden, the visitors will come. Create the flowers, the insects will come. And who benefits? Remember that. Who benefits? The tree is putting up the flowers to attract insects for whose benefit? For its own benefit. The tree is not doing that to feed insects, no. The insect is coming and eating the nectar, but the purpose of the nectar is what? For the pollen to fall on the wings of the insect so he can go to the next flower, to the next tree and drop that pollen off onto the stigmata of those flowers so that they can get pollinated and seeds can be formed. Benefit is for who? For the tree. We do Dava for whom? For ourselves. Not for the world. Not for the world. Al-Ikhlasun Niyya. Al-Ikhlasun Niyya. Not for the world. For ourselves. Keep that in mind. Why must I make my Islah? For myself. Why must I bring Islam into my life and make it the most beautiful life? For myself. Dawah happens. Dawah is not done. Peace happens when justice is established. Dawah happens when Islam is established. I ask Allah Jalla Jalaluhu to make it easy for all of us to open the doors to His grace and majesty and beauty, and to help us from sources that we could not imagine. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Let us all make tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us promise that we will not, from this moment onwards, that there will not be a single day that passes where we do not pray tahajjud. Let us make this promise to ourselves and promise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, I will pray tahajjud everything. I don't care where I am, when I am traveling, not traveling, in my house, outside my house, man, woman. I will pray tahajjud every single day of my life, inshallah. And I ask Allah to help me to do that. And make dua. Beautify your akhlaq. Beautify your speech. Beautify your muamilat, your dealings with people. Beautify your akhlaq. And in your schools, create these little communities where that school is a microcosm of the Islamic way of life. I just don't mean putting topis on the heads of the boys and putting hijabs on the heads of the girls, no. I mean in their akhlaq, in how they deal with each other, giving them autonomy, helping them make decisions, let them decide about what they will learn, what they will teach, what is the curriculum. I mean, this is a big subject. I can't address all of that. It's already almost 50 minutes. I don't want this to go on any longer. So inshallah, that we will look at separately. But just the fundamental principle of Dawah, which is to bring it into our own lives. وصلى الله على نبي الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين والحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.